Do you eat to live or live to eat? We have a convoluted relationship with food, affected by cost, accessibility and even companion pressure. However, something we as a whole offer is hunger, our craving to eat. While hunger, our body's method of making us want food when it needs taking care of, is a piece of craving, it isn't the main factor. All things considered, we frequently eat when we're not eager, or may avoid a feast in spite of aches of appetite. Ongoing exploration has featured that the wealth of food prompts, smells, sounds, promoting, in our condition is one of the fundamental driver of overconsumption. Our hunger is additionally not fixed, it changes over our life expectancy as we age. As Shakespeare would have put it, there are 7 times of hunger, and a superior comprehension of these stages could assist us with developing better approaches for handling undereating and overconsumption, alongside the well-being impacts, for example, stoutness, that follow. The primary decade, 0 to 10. In youth, the body experiences fast development and dietary conduct developed in early life can stretch out into adulthood, driving a fat kid to turn into a fat grown-up. Fastidiousness or dread of specific nourishments can likewise add to supper-time battles for guardians of little youngsters, yet a procedure of continued tasting and learning in a positive situation can assist kids with finding out about new however significant nourishments, for example, vegetables. Kids ought to likewise encounter some control, especially comparable to parcel size. Being compelled to clear the plate by guardians can lead adolescents to lose their capacity to follow their own craving and yearning signs, advancing indulging in later years. There are developing calls for governments to shield little youngsters from focused low-quality nourishment publicizing, on TV as well as in applications, online networking and video web journals, since food promoting expands food utilization, which can add to kids getting overweight. The subsequent decade, 10 to 20. In the high school years, a development in hunger and height driven by hormones, flags the appearance of adolescence. How a young person approaches food during this basic period will shape their way of life decisions in later years. This implies the dietary choices that young people make are naturally connected to the well-being of things to come ages that they will later become guardians to. Sadly, without direction, young people may embrace eating practices and food inclinations related with undesirable results. Young ladies by and large are bound to experience the ill effects of nourishing insufficiencies than youngsters as a result of their conceptive science. Young ladies who become pregnant are additionally at more serious hazard since their bodies are supporting their own development in rivalry with that of the developing embryo. The third decade, 20 to 30. As youthful grown-ups, way of life changes, for example, attending a university, getting hitched or living with an accomplice, and parenthood can advance weight gain. When amassed, muscle-to-fat ratio is frequently hard to lose. The body imparts solid hunger signs to eat when we expend not exactly our vitality needs, yet the signs to forestall gorging are more vulnerable, which can prompt a hover of overutilization. There are numerous physiological and mental components that make eating less hard to keep up after some time. A region of new research is to create satiety, the feeling of having eaten enough. This is useful when attempting to get thinner, since feeling hungry is one of the fundamental hindrances to eating not exactly your body says you need. Various nourishments impart various signs to the mind. It's anything but difficult to eat a tub of frozen yogurt, for instance, since fat doesn't trigger signals in the cerebrum for us to quit eating. Then again, nourishments high in protein, water or fiber content cause us to feel more full for more. Working with the food business gives a chance to shape the eventual fate of suppers and snacks in gainful manners. The fourth decade, 30 to 40. Grown-up working life brings different difficulties past a thundering stomach, yet additionally the impacts of pressure, which has been appeared to provoke changes in craving and dietary patterns in 80% of the populace, similarly isolated between those that gorge and those that lose their hunger. These distinctive adapting procedures are captivating, the marvels of food enslavement, and overpowering inclination to devour explicit, regularly fatty nourishments, isn't surely known. Numerous analysts even inquire its reality. Other character qualities, for example, compulsiveness and scruples, may likewise assume a job in interceding pressure and eating conduct. Organizing the workplace to lessen hazardous eating examples, for example, nibbling or candy machines is a test. Businesses ought to endeavor to sponsor and advance more beneficial eating for a gainful and sound workforce, alongside methods of overseeing pressure and distressing circumstances. The fifth decade, 40 to 50. The word diet originates from the Greek word diareita signifying lifestyle, method of living. However, we are animals of propensity, regularly reluctant to change our inclinations in any event, when we realize it is beneficial for us. We need to eat what we need without changing our way of life, and still have a sound body and brain. There is a lot of proof to show that diet is a significant contributing element to sick well-being. The World Health Organization features smoking, undesirable eating regimen, physical dormancy and issue drinking as the primary way of life impacts on well-being and mortality. It is between the ages of 40 to 50 that grown-ups should change their conduct as their well-being directs, yet indications of sickness are frequently undetectable, for instance hypertension or cholesterol, thus many neglect to act. The sixth decade, 50 to 60. After the age of 50, we start to endure a continuous loss of bulk, at between 0.5 to 1% every year. This is called sarcopenia, and reduced physical action, expending too little protein, and menopause in ladies will quicken the decrease in bulk. A sound, shifted diet and physical movement are imperative to lessen the impacts of maturing, and a maturing populace's requirement for satisfactory, practical, higher protein nourishments isn't being met. Protein-rich nibble nourishments may speak to a perfect chance to build all-out protein admission in more seasoned grown-ups, yet there are as of now not many items intended to meet the necessities and inclinations of more seasoned grown-ups. Peruse progressively about how much protein we need. The seventh decade, 60 to 70, and past. A significant test today, notwithstanding expanding future, is to keep up personal satisfaction, or probably we will end up being a general public of extremely old and sick or handicapped individuals. Satisfactory nourishment is significant, as mature age brings poor craving and absence of yearning, which prompts unexpected weight reduction and more noteworthy fragility. Decreased craving can likewise result from ailment, for instance the impacts of Alzheimer's infection. Food is a social encounter, however the passing of an accomplice or family and eating alone influence the feeling of joy taken from eating. Different effects of mature age, for example, gulping issues, dental issues, decreased taste and smell additionally meddle with the craving to eat and are prizes from doing as such. We ought to recall that all through life our food isn't simply fuel, yet a social experience to be delighted in. We are on the whole specialists in food, we eat it consistently. So we ought to endeavor to regard each chance to eat as a chance to make the most of our food and to appreciate the constructive outcomes eating the correct nourishments can have on our well-being.